All right, have a good weekend, everyone. And before you start that, here's Monica Villela Grayley.
Thank you so much, Farhan, and good afternoon, everyone. Here we are for closing this week. So, we will start with a note for your diaries. The President of the General Assembly, Mr. Denis Francis, has circulated to member states the concept note for the high-level meeting on sea level rise, which will take place on 25th of September at the UN headquarters here under the theme Addressing the Threats Posed by Sea Level Rise. The event includes an opening segment, a plenary segment, 4 thematic panel discussions, and a brief closing segment. Mr. Francis will take part in the opening segment alongside the Secretary General of the UN, Mr. António Guterres, the President of the 79th session, Mr. Philémon Yang, and a representative of a member state affected by adverse effects of sea level rise. The multi-stakeholder panels, I should say, will start at 10:30 a.m. with a debate on sea level rise and its legal dimension, which will be followed by adaptation, finance, and resilience in relation to sea level rise. The third panel, which takes place at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, will discuss livelihoods, social, economic challenges, and culture and heritage in relation to sea level rise, followed by the last debate on knowledge, data, and science to inform sea level rise risk assessments and decision-making. The accelerating pace of sea level rise is increasingly impacting coastal states, many developing countries, especially small island developing states, and least developed countries lack the needed financial resources and technical capacity to anticipate impacts. On one of the panels, they will address the specific vulnerabilities of women and girls to sea level rise and promoting their equal participation in adaptation, planning, and implementation. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, estimates that by 2050, global sea level rise or global sea levels will rise between 15 and 13 centimeters on average, with greater increases expected in equatorial regions, particularly the Pacific. Close to 1 billion people living in low-lying coastal zones will be directly affected due to rising sea levels and climate impacts. So more information on this on the PJ's website. And this afternoon, as we flagged yesterday, the PJ will deliver remarks at the celebrations of International Youth Day. This year, the theme is Empowering Young Persons to Foster Peace and Security for Global Citizenship, which aligns with the Youth Peace and Security Agenda. Mr. Francis recalls that this historic Security Council resolution also recognizes the positive role young people play in efforts to maintain international peace and security and urges member states to consider ways to give youth a greater voice in decision-making at the local, national, regional, and international levels. The commemoration is being organized by the AFS Intercultural Programs in collaboration with UN agencies and the Permanent Mission of Malta to the United Nations. The event will take place today from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and will be webcast. Last but not least, the PJ will issue a video on World Humanitarian Day, which is marked on 19th August each year. That means on Monday. The commemorative day was established by the General Assembly in 2008 after the bomb attack on the Canal Hotel in Baghdad, Iraq, which killed 22 humanitarian aid workers, including the UN Special Representative of the Secretary General for Iraq, Sérgio Vieira de Mello. According to the UN, 2023 was the deadliest year on record for humanitarian workers, and 2024 is on track to be even worse. President Francis highlights that on this World Humanitarian Day, aid organizations from all over the world have united to call for the protection of civilians and humanitarian personnel, as well as to ensure the safe and unhindered access, including across conflict lines. Attacks on humanitarian workers and humanitarian assets must stop, as well as on civilians and civilian infrastructure. This is everything we have for today for you. And before we go to the questions, I would like to go back to Edith's question yesterday. We have the time. It's going to be, Edith, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. If everything goes according to plan, that the adoption will be taking place on the 22nd, yeah? Okay, how are you today? Good to see you. And Amélie after. Yeah, go ahead. You have a question? You don't?
Yes,
go ahead, please.
Monica.
Yes, good to see you.
This
Iftaka.
event about sea level rise,
Yes.
whose initiative is it?
Oh, that's very interesting. This is an initiative by the General Assembly, which was, of course, under the leadership of the current PGA. It is a resolution that was adopted during this session, and the high-level event, it was decided by this resolution to take place on the 25th of September. Yeah? But thank you for your question. Amélie, go ahead.
It's a follow-up on the same issue. Is this event at the level of head of state and government or ministerial or?
It is a high-level event, correct. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. On the 25th, and the entire day, so for your diaries. Anything else here or on the screen? If I don't see anyone, I would say have a wonderful weekend, and I see you on Monday. Thank you. Thanks, bye.